We will open this special budget meeting of December 17th, 2014. Let the record show all selectmen are present. So we have an hour and a half to complete the budget before we present it to the budget committee. So why don't we go over the changes? Or, I'm not going to go line by line, but so, before you do that, do you want to hear from Dennis and what he wants to make a change of?
Yep.
Because that's going to be pertinent to what you need to do, right?
I would think.
Okay.
Is your mouth full yet?
I thought you were going to sing, do you want...
Fill it up and come on over, buddy.
You can go back over and eat.
But not yet.
You want to build a snowman.
I accidentally ate my napkin and I wasn't aware of it.
It's underneath your paper. You can see it poking out. The new thing, pick it up.
Well, that is funny.
You just made me go, ooh.
It happens to me all the time. So.
All right, Dennis.
Okay.
You wanted to cut $10,000 out of your budget? Oh,
Increase.
all right.
All right.
What lines?
Not happening.
Could happen.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have...
Line item what?
What line?
Line item last three is 340,
Okay, equipment,
Got it.
maintenance, and repair.
correct. Okay?
Yep.
I'd like to increase that from 85 to another $1,000, which would make it 95.
340, right?
340.
I'm in the police. I was going to say,
Okay,
public works.
$1,000.
and why?
And why?
Yep.
Is because you can see right here that we've expended 13,078, and to date, through these figures here or through the end of November, okay, that I'm working off my page, and I think those are too, right, Tim?
We're at 14,080.
Huh?
No, this is as of today, 14,080.
Oh, as of today,
Yep.
okay.
14,080 is the
Line
figure.
item are we increasing?
340.
340.
Equipment and maintenance and
From
repair.
85 to 95?
Halfway down.
That's correct. Right.
9128?
Right.
I have 8128.
8128.
Yep, that's what
And
we
you want to
have.
increase it to 9128?
No, 8,500.
And 9,500.
The 9,500, right.
Well, wait a minute. We cut it 8128,
Right.
and we approved the 8128. You're asking for 9,500?
Yes.
I didn't know that you cut it to,
8128.
I didn't know that you cut that, because the last figure that I wrote down at your meeting was $8,500.
So you're looking for 95 because of what?
Because of the equipment supplies maintenance that we had to do on the equipment, okay, and as of right now, I'm at 9408 to date,
Or more.
okay? And you're gonna see, there's $5,000 in there, 5503 was charged to that account when the pickup got in the accident. So that's why you're looking at 13,078, okay?
Okay.
All right? But as of today's date, okay, I'm at 9408 right now on equipment and maintenance.
This is just regular maintenance, belts and
This is
plugs
cutting
and
edges,
grease and,
tires, this is springs, all of that, Joe. This doesn't include the grease and oils and stuff like that. That's maintenance that we have performed on the vehicles.
parts.
Parts, correct, yes.
Now, would the fact that we have a spiffy new loader impact that? Because we were putting money into that loader at a pretty good clip, I think, because, and we've replaced it, so there shouldn't be any unwarranted work, right?
Actually, Joe, we didn't put a lot of money in the loader.
Yeah.
Okay?
all
But we
they-
do have to buy some cutting edges and stuff like that for that, okay? Because they don't come through on a new loader, okay? But that's what I've spent to date, okay, is 9408, and I'm asking the board for $9,500 for next year.
All right, what does the board feel?
Yes.
John?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure why we're at 8128.
We went down on
I have
it the
no
last
idea.
time.
Was this something that we subtracted?
Yeah, when the board met, we went down on it, because we looked at it and said it was 87.28 and then 85, and I really don't know how we came to that 81.28, but...
I don't know either,
Were
but
you
if
with
the
us?
real number is 9,500, we need to budget what we're gonna spend.
Out of the, out of normal, I mean, are they something breakdown that should have tree fell on something, or are they all routine maintenance? And I don't care particularly, I mean, whether one or two things, I mean, I think one or two times a year you'd have something.
We've had some spring work, but that's just about
That
every
can
year.
happen
That's every
anytime.
year, yeah.
Under equipment, maintenance, and repair, is there anything that we can get ahead of that and get this year, like the cutting edges, instead of getting them next year in the budget?
We could? Yes, yes.
Would that take some of that 9,500 off?
So you'd like to encumber something? This
That's
year?
I'm asking.
equipment, maintenance, and
Yeah,
repairs,
yeah,
we
we
don't
can.
have,
We could,
Well,
yes.
cutting edges are in that equipment, maintenance, and repair, he said.
oh, it's
Right.
not, we don't have an equipment purchase line?
No,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we have an equipment purchase line, which is zeroed at.
I mean, if cutting edges and things like that are in that, could
You're gonna need
we
'em.
purchase them this year and not have it
Or
on us?
tires, or...
Right.
We can do that, yes.
Is
Yeah.
there money available for that purpose? How much would they cost?
Our cutting edges are $55 a foot. A foot,
6 feet?
no. Front plows are 11. The wings
Oh, I
are,
thought we were talking loader. I'm sorry, I apologize.
okay.
Do we have,
Wings are, yes, I have money left over my budget, if that's what you're asking me, yes, I
could we do that and save the 1,000 and just put 8,500 in?
could, yep, yep.
How often do you replace those edges?
That's another thing, how often you plow. Usually every year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, unless you have
On
a real heavy
normal-
season.
On a normal season, correct, yes.
We could
yeah,
be sitting here next year,
Right.
yeah.
although, the way it's going.
Right now, we won't need them, that's right.
Well, what's the consensus of the board then?
The 8,500 seems prudent if we're
95.
But then...
taking out the cutting edges at 55 bucks a foot,
If we're gonna
times
be able to
11.
get
Down
the-
there,
if we're able to get
85.
the cutting edges and tires and stuff like that out of
This year's budget?
2014's budget, I would leave it at 85.
So you did buy some carbide blades?
We did.
but Are those,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
All right, how's the
$1,200.
board feel about getting it under 2014's monies?
Yes.
You would do
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of it.
All right, so we're going to leave it at 85? So can you change that to 85? Okay. All right, so you're going to purchase some of that under... All right, what was the next item that you were going to... Keep in mind, we only have a itty-bitty block of time before we got to go before the budget committee.
I've only got a few more.
Okay.
Okay, which will be fast.
Then he's got to go down and print it.
Yeah, go.
Sanitation,
Yep,
860.
okay. Got it.
860 and
Recycling.
864.
Yep, and resident,
Okay,
and demo material removal.
correct.
Is 7,000 currently demo material removal?
Right, recycling was 7,200 you approved and 7,000 for demo.
Yeah,
I'd like to increase the recycling to 9,000 and the sanitation, the demo removal to 10,000. I'll
Because?
explain that. In spring, amnesty, okay, $3,500 for spring. In the fall, which was our biggest one,
yeah,
$7,000.
okay.
And that's demo?
All of it, Joe.
All right,
Computers,
Yeah, yeah.
paint,
Everything
everything.
cost
okay?
us 7,000.
7,000. So we got a total of 10,500 in those two line items. The additional, okay, $9,000 will take care of the items in the summertime of the
rest
wood,
of
the
the year.
household burnables, the steel, because I pay for all of that in trucking fee and... the-
Batteries, and it covers all that stuff.
We
Right.
haven't adjusted our charges so that it's at least a wash. Because in the summer, when we don't have amnesty, we charge for them to.
We do, and the highest we charge is $40 for demolition. Wood, it's $10 a cubic yard that we charge.
How much does it cost us to get rid of it?
Demolition's $95 a ton, and wood is $85 a ton.
And we're charging 40? We should have a conversation somewhere down the road.
Well, we're charging by the cubic yard.
We're
Yeah.
charging by the cubic yard,
We're
which
charging by the ton.
which would go up to, the 40 would go up to about a $65 per ton figure.
So it's close.
It's
Yeah.
close, that's correct, right.
All right.
And we
Okay.
have not adjusted any of our disposal fees for at least 5, 6 years.
We should-
But I think we're comparable to other towns of what they charge.
All right. What does the board feel about, let's take line item 860, recycling, going from 7,200 to 9,000?
Well, I didn't really hear an explanation of why the recycling is going up. I thought it was supposed to be paying for itself.
No, this, Catherine, okay, is, before we went to the curbside pickup, we had a recycling line item,
Yep.
and we had a demolition, okay?
Yep.
Household burnables can go under recycling, okay? Transportation goes under recycling. If I'm tight on demolition in my figure, then I put some of my demolition in the recycling, and I split it up between the two of them,
Okay.
okay?
So it's not really recycling.
Why not just have them in one line? Why not just have
So we
one
need
line?
to think about, we don't have to tonight, but we need to think about renaming that line.
Makes it better, I think.
Yeah,
You've
because people
only-
are going to say, why did we increase
It's
recycling?
certainly more
And do
transparent.
away with the dumpsters at the transfer
working.
station, even though that's not what it was
You
about.
had budgeted 14.2 this year, but we've only spent about 12,000.
So why would it go
Is
up
there
to
more coming?
19 next year?
Well, you just got a bill of 6,600 from NRA, Casella Waste.
I hadn't, if it's ones you dropped off today, I hadn't looked at
All
it.
right, so that number's going, those numbers are going up.
All
right, so you-
7,200 is going to what?
9,000.
9? The other one's going to 10,000?
Correct.
And
that
can
what you
we
want?
combine 860 and 864,
No, not
or is
yet.
that a whole thing?
It's 4,800 between the two of them that he's increasing. Don't make a change until the board says it's consensus.
Yes.
You're okay with that?
I want to budget what we need, and not a penny more.
Okay. Don?
That's what we need, yeah.
Okay. Val? Catherine?
Yep.
Okay. Move, now you can.
So 9,000
72, line 860 goes to 9,000.
And 10,000 for 864.
864, correct.
And then we'll combine 60 and 64 in the future?
And the future, next year, we'll combine them, and then
All right.
that'll be a little bit more transparent. All right? Next.
That's all I have, but I do, after I review these here, okay, that has been presented to you, okay, if I have a question on some of these, can I come back to the table?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
before 7 o'clock.
That's fine.
Because we're going to be presenting it to them,
Fine, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Review
one, Dennis?
quickly.
I will.
You got one, Dennis? Did you have one?
Did you get a report?
Yeah, you just gave me one, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you all set with this? Do you agree with the director's assessment? Assistant director over there? Okay. Just checking. You should have let him present it.
If I find any mistakes,
I'll let him come up and explain. All right, Tim, so now we're back to the
Okay.
budget. Sorry, because now you're going to need to reprint all that, right?
No, yeah. That's all right. So what you're looking at here, there've been a few changes based upon the changes from last week.
Yep.
So primarily, what would have changed would be the salary lines, where there were changes to projected
Right.
salary, as well as all, retirement, taxes, life and disability, all that. Joyce and I have been through this, and the expenditures that you see under the next to 2014 budget, these are all as of today. So that doesn't include anything that I'm holding right now, or that somebody, like Dennis gave me some stuff today, so it doesn't include that. I haven't processed it yet. But in any event, right now we're looking at $117,737, not including the changes Dennis just gave us.
Highway, right?
Right, which is roughly a 2.3% increase. On the next page, I listed out the increases by department, and then just gave a very high level as to what the change was. Keep in mind that in the admin budget, the personnel changes that are taking place both in the administrative budget with the retirement as well as in the land use budget, those taxes and benefits are reflected in the admin budget.
Can I ask you a question? On the health welfare, it's the percentage change is minus 8.6%. I'm on page 2 for everyone.
Yep.
Reduce general assistance to reflect prior 5-year experience. Minus $9,712. I thought it was minus $10,000.
The $9,712 is what the change is from the 2014 budget.
Okay.
So because there were some
Change
wage increases
2014,
in
okay.
that budget, the net is minus 9,700. So in other words, the
Okay.
the 117,000 that we're going up from the prior year, all the components that makes up that 117,000, because some departments are up higher, some went down.
Yep.
And so that's just a very high level net of what's taking place.
Okay.
The only other thing I think it's kind of notable to point out, and I wish our system worked differently, but you'll see that in each of the departments, or at least in the admin, highway, and police, that the merit lines are zeroed out. So, because they're distributed, so the money that was originally budgeted in those was then, distributed to all the salary lines, the retirement, wages, and that sort of thing. So, and where you see that there is a balance, that's because that amount was not distributed. It was left over. There are notes down at the bottom of each of these departmental pages. And the town clerk tax collector, she's not going to be here tonight, but she'd asked me to print out something from her desktop that she did a comparison of other towns, and I guess I'm presuming it has a town clerk as well as deputy, and what the percentages looked like, I'm sure supporting her request. I had looked at some math for her a while back, and I'm presuming that's what's in it, but I'll print that out and have it available. Outside of that, following the budget, you'll see that there are wage lines, both for the town hall, public works, and then the police department. And they're split up by union, non-union in the police. And it's a little difficult to read the way it's split out, but that's because there's some people that are Group 1 retirement in the police department. Most are Group 2. And Group 2 don't have Social Security matched, only Group 1. And, so in any case, I've been through this and double-checked it. Also, there's first half, second half for New Hampshire retirement because the rates changed July 1st. And so that's also taking into account those. On the town one, you'll see that I made the changes for the land use coordinator. If you go to page, I think that's 16, and about items 7 and 8 down, you'll see the land use coordinator. There's 1,560 hours at one rate and 520 hours at the same rate, but one is full-time hourly position and with benefits, and the other is not. And then you'll also see, regarding the retirement, a few lines down beyond that, you'll see that there's 13 weeks at a budgeted salary, which is 1/4 of the year.
Right.
And then 3/4 of the year at a rate of $20.44 an hour. And we've estimated medical insurance and, not knowing. We're on page 16.
And you did that for Public Works as well?
Yep, split the Public Works as it had been
Yeah, I see it.
listed before.
PD, the non-union supervisors, where are they here? Are they in?
We don't have any, we don't have that non-union supervisor. We didn't have that in the budget this year. Are you talking about the sergeant?
No, I'm talking about captain.
Captain is the second item down on the top, on page 17.
And he's pulled in with the officers' wages?
The captain has always been in the officer's wages line. Yes, yeah. I've always felt it's
Just like the
A little
dispatcher and the
kludgy.
administrative assistants are the same line, one's union, one's not.
It'd be nice to clean that up at some point.
I would really like that to be cleaned up, because then when you see officers' wages, then you're seeing contractual wages right there
Right.
for
We
the
can have that
officers.
discussion.
We can,
Later.
right after the budget, right. And then you see the chief, the captain, and those are non-union
I would love to
position.
do that, because it takes several gyrations to split them and then put them back and, make it come out
So
right.
we can put that on Joyce's agenda for next week to bring up, and we can, after we present the budget.
To move in the PD,
Separate
Yep.
separate the
Union,
captain to, separate non-union. The chief is going, yes, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was wondering, on the
make it easier.
parking enforcement, it says NA, shouldn't that be 0 if we're not going to do it?
I think because it was, let's see, some of those lines that either say NA or, it was zeroed out in 2014, so it hang on, I'm on the wrong one. Still on the wrong one. Here we are. Zeroed out in 2014, so in other words, it doesn't even apply. The reason for having that line there at all is because the 2013, if you were to look at the 2013 budgeted totals, it wouldn't add up right, were they not
Much as it
included.
Now, not having anything on that line for the coming year presupposes that we're not going to enforce parking.
no, it just means we're not going to hire a separate individual to
Salary.
enforce parking. We still have a whole slew of police officers.
But wouldn't you have to make that a 0 to say that you're not going to hire anybody?
You don't,
You could make that
wouldn't be
a
in favor.
0 or less than 0, and the selectmen could still choose to hire somebody.
right. That's,
Find the money somewhere else, bottom line budget.
you really don't want to do that, because we hired someone in the past. Would we want to hire someone in the future? I think that we have enough staff right now. We're fully staffed to do that in the police department right now. We just have to get after the chief to enforce that. Someone has their phone.
Oh, that's my phone. I'm like,
Oh, get out of town.
my desk. I don't have my car.
Okay, yeah.
We're all looking at poor Gabby over there, and it's, yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
Shut it off, please. Thank you, darling. Should we talk about lease or not lease the cruiser?
It's on that
Since
page.
we're in the PD?
Chief, do you have figures? You gave them to us last week, right? Yeah, last year. Seems like last year.
Right here.
And
They're on page 12.
There was a handful of specific questions just about the budget that we asked you for this week. Did you keep track of those? I don't know if you could review what they were, so
You're good.
More information on the lease purchase amount, if it's going to be 2 years, 3 years. Want to make sure that all the equipment, the striping and everything is included. So that's why the chief and Tim are here. Let's see. Yeah, what would it cost to lease, and what is the actual cost to replace the cars? That was really about it, just the, and then Pat had wanted a breakdown on the actual maintenance expenses on the senior center, which I can do that when board's ready. And the
Well, we wanted an explanation on why the $1,000, and I think, Tim, we didn't know what that extra was, and that's because there was miscellaneous expenses that were made that Dennis had to go up and do minor repairs on parts of the building and things that they felt that it was enough to warrant to put into the budget.
Right, because we had closed out that line item, general building expense, we made that 0, and then we put some additional money in the senior center for, unforeseen expenses that can happen. Like, we have one already that we're going to talk with Dennis about building an enclosure for the air conditioner to keep the,
The snow comes down off onto the air conditioning unit.
we'll try and get that in under this year's budget.
No, try, you're gonna have to, but that's gonna be destroyed.
Yeah, because it's big chunks of ice that come down on it, because of the metal roof now. We didn't have it before.
That's not an option. That's not optional for next year, it's optional for this year.
So that's why they went to the,
put some plywood over it for now until we
Yep.
get on that.
That shouldn't
it's a
cost-
great idea. Just, John's saying just put some plywood over it till we can get to it in the spring, and then we could build something next year, and then just,
The AC and heat unit up at the
We've
senior
gone
center.
way past the budget discussion.
so that's why they put in the extra. Is everybody okay with that or no?
For things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so go back to the police
That was the only
cruiser.
thing, it's just the police cruisers was the big thing.
So the police utility cruiser's 26,947,
44,000 total.
That's the utility.
44,276 total. The Interceptor vehicle is 41,367, and that's with all the lights and radios and fully installed, correct? That's installation included? Everything included.
For both of them.
The last number you said?
41,367.
Yeah, I have in the notes 44, because I'm always a little apprehensive with the cost with our
Oh, in here,
installer.
these notes? Okay.
So my question is that on the leasing option, are those fully equipped, painted, white barred, computered, and everything else? Okay.
So what's the difference between leasing it, we're in a lease for 3 years, or
Yeah, 3-year lease.
it's a 3-year lease, and
The
the interest on it,
5%.
5%?
Yeah.
How much are we saving in buying it outright?
Well, what it's doing for us is, and I don't know if you recall the detail fund analysis that I did for you that showed our actual revenues, expenses, and what the detail fund has netted over the years, but I feel very certain that the detail fund can make one lease payment on a car a year. So if you were to look at splitting out leasing a car in 2015 and paying for it from the detail fund, so not having necessarily an operating expense for that $15,500, and then starting in 16, lease a car out of the operating budget. And then same thing in 17. By the time you get to 17, Riverfront Park would have dropped off. We wouldn't have any budgeted expense in that year, and we'd be looking at roughly $32,000 of lease expense. And so we would have 3 cars, in a program every year, and every 3 years, the detail fund would be purchasing a new one, and then every second year, the operating account would do it, and in the third year, we'd also be leasing a car, and that would be coming out of the operating account. So then, in that fourth year, you'd be back to the detail fund paying for it. So
It's cheaper for the taxpayer.
it's cheaper for the taxpayer, and it gets us on a program where we can ensure that the cars have new equipment in them. And you need only look at some of the older cars to see, what we've ended up with. And at the same time, it's making full use of the detail fund. And we're also bridging to the point where we have less debt for the town. So from a taxpayer perspective, we're making use of the leasing now, and we won't really be paying any larger amount until we're past the riverfront debt. And even then, it's going to be less than paying for one cruiser in a particular year. So
it's a win-win situation
So-
for the town.
So then the next question would be is, why would we need to hear from the chief on this one, why would we need a utility vehicle versus a regular interceptor vehicle?
It is a good question. They're the same chassis and motor, the two vehicles. The only difference is interior space and cargo space in the back. A lot of the departments like the cargo space in the back for, cones, traffic reconstruction equipment for accidents, things like that. And there's more room for prisoners in the back, so if you get a really large prisoner, the common argument from a lot of towns is they want to have one vehicle that they can put a larger prisoner in the interceptor. That's its weakness.
Do we not have a vehicle like that now?
And we have the Expedition, right?
Yeah, have the Expedition. So the other piece that they've made to me as an argument is leg room in the front for taller officers. So there are some agencies that have gone all utility because they just feel that it gives them the most interior space and they like utilizing the back.
And it's the same power, everything is the same.
One have four-wheel drive and one not?
They're both all-wheel drive. So
Four-wheel drive.
No, all-wheel drive.
They're all-wheel drive, but you don't have an independent four-wheel. Okay. In the utility, do you? Would you?
it would be all-wheel drive.
But you wouldn't be able to shift into like four-wheel low?
They're just all-wheel drive.
Just standard like a car.
So it's just extra space. It's like buying a station wagon instead of a coupe.
Now, it would have two, so now you have two prisoner dividers? So it would be behind the rear seat, there's a wall there.
So the prisoner couldn't get into that way back.
Yeah.
So what they do is they just put simply a cage there. So it's not the whole steel structure with plexiglass, but just simply a cage.
A cage,
So they can't,
so they can't get into the,
and then what they do is they mount the computer to that back seat.
To the back of the back seat?
So what's the difference in price we're talking about?
about 3,000. No,
A little less than three.
2,500.
I'd buy the
So it-
utility vehicle.
so it's short money.
Tempter's a squatty.
And you get a better vehicle,
Safer vehicle.
safer vehicle, and more
At
room.
least it's even smaller,
Right.
spread out.
I would go with the utility vehicles, I mean, it makes
So would
more
I.
sense.
So consensus with the board right now oh, Dennis.
What's covered under the lease as far as maintenance?
There's different warranties. There's a general warranty. There's an extended-
Same warranties you get.
A lot of the departments.
It's not a...
It's just a method of buying
It's
it.
not like a rental.
Warranty. That's when we can stop getting it is it's worth it. So that's what the chief's told me, just go with the warranty that comes with it. Because,
So that's a 3-year, 36,000.
yes.
You're gonna hit the 36 within
First.
6 months, okay? And you're saying not to go with an extended beyond the 36?
Yeah, some of the departments have tried to use the extended, and they say because of the type of use that the vehicles are getting, the board isn't covering everything in it. And so, just talking to some of the other chiefs, they've stopped getting the extended warranty.
And what does the
And the other piece, Dennis, was Ford is up the warranty on the transmission, and this was a big one, to $100,000, before you had to get the extended warranty. Why did you have it?
So how many payments for the lease would there be a year?
5-year 100 on the drivetrain,
One or two?
and
Quarterly?
There would be 3.
Wait a minute, we have two conversations going on.
Well, that one has nothing to do with
Well,
budgeting.
we'll stop it then.
Before, we didn't get that extended, the transmission.
right,
Okay, you got your answer?
I did.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
Okay, so
I think
Wait,
it's real important.
Catherine's still got,
It's
I'll go to
still-
you next.
Still going with the
But
discussion.
the
that
lease
they have
is the
there.
lease, there's nothing to do, I mean, the
Well,
warranty is the
when a-
warranty. It doesn't have anything to do with this budget conversation. We haven't even, when we go to buy the vehicle, we can pick out what warranty we want.
At an additional cost.
You haven't figured out the actual cost, right? Based on the warranties.
I'd like to know what the cost is. If you're going to get a warranty, I'd really like to put it in the budget now, as opposed to put it in the budget when we get a vehicle in June, July.
Well, why wouldn't that have been figured into this figure that we have here on page 12? Because the total cost of the vehicle, so it says total cost $44,000.
He just said that he wasn't gonna get an extended warranty because it's not worth having.
Yeah, even the sales guy said now that they cover that full drivetrain for
5-year, 100,000.
he said that's the whole purpose we got the extended warranty before, he said you really don't need it anymore.
Okay,
So the standard warranty that's in this price is the
336.
is a 336,
Is that in
but the
the
trans,
4,000?
but the drivetrain
is 5,
5,100. Okay, that's all.
okay,
And is that included in this total cost figure?
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay, so, how many lease payments would there be?
in year 1, there'd be 1 lease payment. Year 2, 2 lease payments. Year 3, 3 lease payments.
Oh, per vehicle.
4 times a year, that's right.
That-
So I don't understand, why do
Well,
they break it up
this year
that
we
way?
would buy one, right,
So think of it as a stair step. So in 2015, we'd lease 1 vehicle out of the detail fund,
You have one payment.
1 payment.
A year.
In year 2, we'd have 1 payment out of the detail fund, but 2, or a second lease payment out of the operating budget.
For another car.
for a
Yeah, that's what I
second car.
said, okay,
And
so.
then the 3rd year,
Yes,
you'd
okay.
have 2 lease payments coming out of the operating budget and 1 lease payment coming out of the detail fund.
Right, so it's one lease payment per car per year.
Right, but the
And if we have 2 cars in 1 year, that's 2 payments. If we have 3 cars in 1 year, that's 3 payments?
correct, but the
And if we have
detail
4
fund-
cars, it's 4.
How is that better? Wait a minute, if we have 1 out of the detail fund, and then we have 1 out of the operating, 1 out of the detail the second year, and then 2 out of the operating and 1 out of the detail, how is that benefiting the taxpayers?
Because it's still less than $44,000.
That's correct, and what it's doing for us is it gets us the cars that we need up until the point where Riverfront Park debt is off the books. So we have,
I don't want to replace one debt for another, though.
No, I understand, but...
But we're buying cars now. And the detail fund, unless we vote on it, doesn't pay for any of it, right? The taxpayers do. This way, the details
Well, they've been
would
paying
help
for
pay the
half of the
car.
cruiser. The detail fund has been paying for half of the
But
cruiser
it's
so
also been
far.
paying for a lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
This way, the detail fund would pay for just the
For
cruiser.
cruisers.
I know, but they didn't at this, I thought we were taking money out of the detail for tasers and,
We did this time.
we didn't.
no. No, that was officer wages.
For wherever it went.
We need a slush fund.
Okay. All right, that answered my question.
So it's
So,
really a bridge.
can-
It's a financing vehicle is all it is.
All right, I'm going to ask consensus on the interceptor vehicle versus the utility vehicle. John,
I'm kind of with the standard,
the standard,
yeah, we have.
Utility.
Utility.
Interceptor.
the vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a police car.
I'm fine with the utility. I think it would be better, we've got some really tall offices. So consensus on that one would probably
Utility.
be utility. Now, consensus leasing or budgeting?
Leasing.
That's the next question.
Lease.
Lease.
Lease?
Unanimous?
Unanimous, okay. So, we would be putting in the budget this year for a lease? Nothing, it would come out of detail.
Right, we would be putting a dollar in that equipment purchase.
To keep it
Well,
open.
I think the question to the chief is, were there any other equipment purchases in that $29,000? Was it all for just the cruiser and the cruiser parts? Nothing else, no other equipment? Okay.
You want to change that to a dollar?
So the line item 660, we're going to, consensus on this one is go to $1?
Dollar.
Is that everybody's consensus on that one?
Yep.
Yep.
The question was, what happens if something breaks or whatever? That was asked of, go ahead, chief.
Equipment maintenance and repairs. Something.
And we're positive that this new vehicle, from everything, is 44,000, I mean, it's going to be covered in this.
Not a dime over.
Everything. No new computer in the dash, crazy.
Oh, it has that.
I know, but I mean, no new extra things. Like this year, we had a lot of extra things all of a sudden. Talking car, nothing.
They probably talk now.
Aware that they need.
Curb feelers.
Please.
Hold on, the chief is speaking.
Out of equipment purchase, and you take the stripe off of there, just
Okay, so what's the striping?
it's about $1,000.
So I suggest we leave 1,000 in there.
I asked specifically if it came striped and lighted and computerized.
Out of the 29,000, Joe, it does, that he has in the line, that's where he said he had it.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to leave that there.
We have to put our own monogram on it.
So we're all set with keeping 1,000 there, and that's for striping the car? It's usually about $750, $850 to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
All right?
When is he planning on purchasing the vehicle?
when we tell him he can.
What point?
When, after the public
After
hearing?
town meeting.
After the public hearing to expend the,
We have about 12,000 right now.
No, after town meeting, till the budget's approved, he can't purchase it until
It's
the...
got nothing to do with it. We're taking it out of the detail fund.
Yeah.
you can't.
We have money in the
public
detail
hearing to do that.
We have to have a public hearing before we
Spending
make the
money from
purchase.
there,
But the chief goes out and gets the information, brings it back to us, and we
And then we'll
approve it or
have to-
deny
We
it.
approve it, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
So utility and lease is the consensus.
utility and lease, so that would be a...
God
But we're
bless
leaving
democracy.
$1,000 into that.
So do I, really.
So now what do we...
1,000.
Oh, yes.
What were the other budgeting questions? Did we cover everything, Joyce?
I mean, you had mentioned some things about you want to see more of a plan from the Pines Community Center, but I
Well, that's stuff we'll have to deal
There'll be a
with.
group with the budget committee.
We should contact them
That's,
after our budget is final. and
so that number's not even in there when we look at our bottom line budget here.
What number?
So you voted to level fund.
Was it level fund?
Yeah, you voted to level
Okay, so that's in
fund.
there. Okay, good.
Last week.
So we've got all the lines filled in. Seriously?
Yeah.
Yes, well, because of the interest of time, knowing how long this meeting was probably going to go, I had to fill in the things that you had not specifically voted on, because otherwise there wouldn't be enough time to prepare the budget for the budget committee.
Meaning the
Well, we haven't
the
voted.
wages and the
land use and,
We didn't vote on any of those things. We only voted on some specifics. Should we
Right.
vote on the bottom line of the budget now?
Well, we need figures first from that because we just changed it. Right.
we gotta have a figure.
He's got his computer.
We have to get a figure.
Bottom line is the bedroom.
I think I did.
Okay, so it's going to be 90,000.
I don't agree with some of this stuff.
No, it's 9,000. Oh, 90. Sure.
It's 85 on the equipment maintenance and repair.
500.
We took the 1,000 back because he's going to
can't-
purchase
I
some
can't
of
say
it
I
in
agree with that.
2014.
Well, you vote yes
Okay.
on the bottom line, and you have agreed to it.
Yeah, but that's your
It's 9,000 and 10,000.
I know.
So line 860
But
is 9,000, and line 864 is 10,000. But he's going to purchase what he can out of 2014 monies.
That's what, so that's
I would be very surprised.
maintenance and repair that's going to stay.
There'll be talk on
To
the
85. Yep. For some reason, we put it 8128.
I've got my old budgets to look at this as well.
Speaking of curious things, in the IT budget, I may have some minor shifting around between services and hardware and that sort of thing. So I don't know that it's,
As long as it's
The bottom line gonna change.
the bottom line's not going to change.
Right. And Tim does this year to year anyway, because it depends on what the needs are, if repairs and things.
What
we've all-
deals you can get.
Right,
I
and the
understand.
deals, and
Tim?
We like the deals.
never seen anybody
I like the
get deals like he does.
Yeah. Town hall, IT, how is that? I mean, how are we going to be, is it going to be better next year than it is this year for equipment and operations?
I would think so. The plan next year, and I wasn't planning on presenting this tonight to the Budget Committee, but the plan is to replace the server that we have downstairs. Support is ending on it June 30th, so we already have the server replacement. The one that's coming out of the PD is going to be reloaded.
I'll approve that.
Same operating system, and then they'll be backing each other up. But in any case, once that's in,
Not that.
I have a couple of replacements already slated for some systems downstairs. There's a motor vehicle system that has to be replaced, and the administrative system. I didn't want to introduce anything new
Yeah.
until next year. But otherwise, no, we're pretty well.
And everything's covered to get that in your budget?
Yes,
Sorry
yep, for town
getting
hall,
that
yep.
stuff too.
Yep.
And the garage?
Yeah.
While they're finishing their conversations,
They've actually gotten, they have two nice systems down there and nice monitors.
Yep.
So they got a.
The Budget Committee did approve the youth assistance and the animal control and new beginnings.
I did not get I don't think, John, well, it wasn't sent to me.
didn't get the memo?
No.
Did we vote on? I don't think we voted.
Last week,
Did we vote on
they voted on it
So,
last week.
New Beginnings,
New beginnings,
1530.
yep.
Animal
Oh, that's
Control,
right, we did approve.
5500. And Youth Assistance, 42049.
Odd number.
They didn't do Red
But
Cross?
Not Red Cross and not the Pines.
No, they didn't do Red Cross, in the Pines is what's left.
Didn't they do the Red Cross?
Red Cross, I believe they,
Is that a
I can't remember, John, to be honest with you. I believe they said 500, but I can't. I don't.
Why-
Let's get it from Joanne.
Why does it stick in my head that we voted to not spend 500 on the Red Cross?
No, it was 3-2, I believe, on that.
I voted against it, no doubt.
I voted no,
To zero? Zero
to
from
not fund Red Cross.
Well, No, I have Red Cross, it was motion by Pat, second by Catherine, and it was 5-0 to change it to 500.
From 500 to 500?
No, 1,600.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's what, we talked about defunding them and went down to 500. That's it.
We level funded them, didn't we? From
Yes.
last year?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. We didn't increase it.
And then you level funded Heinz.
Right.
Right,
This year?
yes.
The vote was 3-2.
I voted no.
I voted no.
I must have voted no.
Yeah, I have no, Pat and Joe were no.
We vote to level fund them, not give them their increase.
They asked for 64.
We can
The
redo it.
vote was for 64, and I voted no. No, I voted no on level funding them. That's what I did.
Yes, that's correct.
I did too.
I voted to fund them.
So maybe
just me.
the vote was 3-2.
I might have
It
misunderstood.
passed to level fund it.
Right.
Yeah,
But we can,
that's the
you can
intention.
redo the vote if you want.
Yeah, that was mine.
I'm not making a motion.
It worked out.
Not
Not
on that one.
without some input from the Pines.
They're coming on January 7th. We can always
I think
redo.
that's a valuable resource.
There's
We'll talk
always-
later.
They've asked him to come to the Budget Committee.
So we could change it.
We can change it after that as long as it's before the public hearing.
And Genesis asked to
Yes, we got a letter from Genesis again to come in and
reconsider. And
They asked
that,
what the process was for a petition warrant article.
they did?
But Genesis, my problem with Genesis, they'll tell you they're they're the sole source for mental health needs in Belknap County, and that's not true.
Not true at all. All right, let's take a quick look before Tim prints it one more time for us.
So Public Works is good over there?
So I'll make a motion to accept.
Dennis,
Is Dennis good?
What is our final figure?
well,
Wait a minute, Dennis has a problem on his.
That's tough.
a
Highway.
concern.
Tough.
Pat, you're making the motion to...
No,
Yeah.
not yet. Hold it.
We told Dennis you could have one more shot.
We'll make a motion not to accept any more changes to the budget,
Quick, before it's second.
unless there are decreases.
I'm flipping pages here. I couldn't hear what you had said on the merit.
2.5%.
2.5%.
The reason why it doesn't show on that dealer report is because once the merits are allocated, they're put into the various salary lines and retirement and things like that.
Okay.
That's why we don't see a large number there.
All right,
The calculations that I had on the merit raise pool is 4534. And you have the 4234. Is that a mistake in the way they were written or what?
No, it's not to my
I would
knowledge.
say if you took
My keyboard isn't
2.5% of
as
81,
generous.
181, 335.
181, 355?
2.5% there.
He's on page
It's
9.
458875.
4588? That's 4588.
I don't know quite how he's calculating, but I can tell you that
181355 times 2.5?
Right.
It's 4588.
let's see.
Once you gotta add in 49,843 into the 181,355.
What do you want to increase it to? Let me put it that way.
Did you calculate that 2.5%?
I'm sure.
I'd say we leave it.
But
And you did it on the 181, 355?
now I do it on all the individual wages going down. But
I came up with 4534. That's what I came up with.
Did you take into account there's no merit for the new wage?
I did.
Okay.
Just do me a favor and take 181,355.
We're just talking about...
We just did that.
We're just talking about a couple $100, right?
854, get a total, times 2.5%.
I'm sure in this budget somewhere there's a couple $100.
5779.
It is in there, yeah. Keep going to wages.
5779.
I'm
I'm
happy
gonna,
making it whatever you want to
I'm-
make it.
It's
You wanna
fine.
add 300
my
bucks to it,
consensus,
do it.
my opinion is leave it. We
We
can
can-
find the
yeah.
money.
What's our bottom line now?
Oh, here it is, okay.
What's the consensus, everyone?
Just leave it.
Merit pay,
leave
this,
that.
look, leave it. Joe?
Check your number, and if that's the number you come up with, that's what we live with. If we overspend it, we'll find it somewhere else.
All right.
Like he said,
It's not necessarily that we do the max 2.5% either.
Well, then we're not going to short them just because the math is...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I agree.
if it's short, we'll take it out of Public Work Director's merit,
outstanding.
He
Like
doesn't get
gets a
one, does he?
merit?
the assistants.
He doesn't get one.
He gets a merit?
I did mine, that'll make up the difference. All right, buddy?
Not if he keeps it up. All right, let's go down the budget before we do that.
Okay, so you want the totals by department?
No, I want the bottom total. I
nope.
don't- I want the bottom
We have
final
to,
amount.
we have to, I'm gonna vote, let's vote on department. Because
Why?
there's some people that don't want to vote on certain items.
If you vote on the bottom line, I vote no.
That's okay. It's a selectman's budget, it's a...
I understand that, and I won't vote on that number. So if you want to vote on the bottom line, I vote no.
All right,
There could be yes and no's.
right, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the admin line for $656,429, the finance for $579,127, IT for $107,407, land use for $88,133, and I'll stop there.
Second.
That does not include TCTC.
I understand that.
I have a motion and a second for admin, finance, IT, and land use. Call the question. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed?
No,
Okay. All right. Is the final figure for PD, what is the final figure?
Final figure is $2,029,312.
And what is the final figure for Public Works?
$986,381.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the police budget of $2,029,312, Public Works for $986,381, welfare for $102,855, culture and recreation for $177,506, and outside agencies of $160,074. Do I hear a second? All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Keep going.
Opposed?
Aye.
I was trying to find the word.
Okay.
Okay,
So, I'm sorry, so
aye,
how many, what was it?
3 to
3 to
2.
2, it passes
Two, and who's voting no?
I am.
west side of the table.
Oh, I see where it is.
We're the west side.
I apologize for that.
That's what
Okay.
it is.
So I'll make a motion, and we can open it for discussion or whatever, I don't care, for the town TCTC line for $126,751. Do I have a second?
Second.
I was going to do it. Somebody's got it.
All right. Do people want to talk about it, or all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay. So we have a total budget of,
$5,013,974.
Wait a minute, 5,013,000.
$1,974. 5,013,974.
and that is what percent?
It's an increase of $94,909, or 1.9%.
909?
$94,909, and, or a 1.9% increase. And you'll be
Wait a
getting new,
5,130,970.
No,
No.
5,013,000.
13,013.
just over 5 million.
5013.
Oh, 013. Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody's okay with everything? Do you want to make changes?
The budget is passed. Whether we're all okay with every little thing or not,
I don't think we'd ever be unanimous on everything, no matter.
we have before, but not really.
It would be.
I didn't,
No.
well,
Well, we've moved it on.
we've talked about that, one of which I voted no on.
Yep.
And I lumped it into a group, so
Which one was that?
the culture, outside agencies.
Is there anything else you need from me before I go downstairs and print it? Anything you don't want included or changed, mortgage?
Nothing that I can force you to take out, so.
Is this for the Budget Committee too? Are you printing copies for them?
That's what I was intending to do.
Did you want the page 17 in there too? Or go back one?
I haven't looked at
16 and 17?
Those are the salary pages. They don't have medical information on them, but it's totally up to you.
There isn't any non-public, right? Information on it?
I still would leave them out.
Okay.
I just don't, I mean, if they're asked for, fine, but we can always provide it, but I really don't.
So I'll print pages 1 through 15.
I can run either way.
Me too, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
So it'll end on outside agencies. Okay, great.
Oh, wait a minute, I want to change one thing.
I'm gonna throw something at you.
Those little snowmen.
Are you 1.9% over?
Around town hall today.
You wanted to...
Subtract.
Oh, yes.
Shut that off.
Colors, purple looking, first I noticed
I make
purple.
a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That was,
That was easy.
I knew exactly who they